Hello everyone and welcome to the Capsule Cast. This is a very special week. It's the All-Star week. We skipped week 9 because there was a few hiatuses among the cast, so we were unable to do any recording. I am your host, Xmat, and I'm joined by my wonderful, lovely co-host, Fathappy.
Hello, and thank you for the kind words.
Well, I mean, you're basically a subdivision of Cold, so I have to.
Now, this is defamation.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm ready to get straight into things. So
I'm ready to get into things.
Beautiful. Right, so we had some very special events happening this week.
Indeed.
To begin with, we had the Burter Cruiserweight Chase Down, which, if you guys haven't watched, well, it happened last season, I think maybe the season before as well. Basically, to give a quick rundown on the event, everyone has to survive Burter as he's on like a really ludicrous build. I think it's like 15 or 20 points.
Well, his build is literally he's invincible.
Basically, he's invincible, and he does damage basically. And you've got to survive it, but you get given a 10-point build, and access to certain Batara, like max defense, which is just like defense plus 4 and latent energy. So the winner, if you want to call them the winner, because no one actually beat Burter in the sense that no one survived the 180 seconds they needed to.
The victory condition was run out the timer.
Exactly. The one that got closest was Gogeta, who had 5 seconds left, and behind him Frieza with I think it was 41 seconds, and Majin Buu with 43. And everyone else, they tried. I think everyone got past. Everyone got past a minute, I believe, past 120 seconds. So everyone survived 60, if that makes sense. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, props and congratulations, especially at Pool, because I think that was a bit of a... that was the hardest one to see through the line, I would guess. But yeah, any thoughts on the event?
I mean, it's an interesting enough event. It's like very different from how the actual league works. When it's like who can survive the longest. Makes you think differently about your builds. But yeah, congratulations to Cinema for being like by a good margin the team that did the best.
Yeah, it's just a shame that he couldn't live the extra 5 seconds, because then he would be crowned victor. But
yeah. Also, congratulations to Cold for being the runner-up.
The runner-up, yeah. Well, Frieza, to be fair, I was a little bit disappointed, even with 40 seconds, because Frieza did have a massive advantage over everyone else with the 3 transformations. But there you go. Are you ready to get moving on to the next event? I think.
Yeah, these events. No need to stay too long on each of them.
Yeah, precisely. So the next event, we had the Android 21 Feeding Frenzy, and basically, this event is the complete opposite of the Burter event in the sense that your goal is to take 21 down. She has, like, her B2s pretty much, if not always, instant kill because of how much damage they do.
I believe they dealt like 999,000 damage or something along those lines. They dealt 99999.
Yes. So your objective is basically to either dodge or stop her from getting off B2s, which will be very relevant in a moment, which I'll explain. But yeah, her charge rate is abysmal. So the caveat is you've got to try and kill her before she launches, or hits with rather a B2.
Yeah, her charge rate was as low as it could possibly go, I believe.
Yes.
Without being non-existent.
The overall winner was, and I'm sure you're going to be delighted for me to say this, Happy, was Bobbity, because Bobbity actually even though Cell also killed 21, Bobbity did it with the most health remaining. It was by a smidgen. It was not by a lot. But Bobbity survived with about a bar left. Cell also won. And he had about, I think, 3/4 of a bar. It was not very much in it. 2,000 at a push. But yeah, I mean, the advantage both of them had, I think, which will obviously you'll be able to expand on. I think that's part of the reason you chose Bobbity, is that they can take key away from 21.
Exactly.
So
yeah. So 21's build, obviously, just like Burter being straight up invincible is one thing. Android 21's build is like a lot more interesting in the sense that, absolutely no charge rate, but the highest possible super damage, guaranteed one shots. So just don't let her fire a B2 ever. And that's how you beat the event. She does have, what did she have, like 70,000 HP or something?
Mm-hmm.
She had like basically 2 characters worth of HP as well. So even with that special build, like the fact that Bobbity itself got through it is like kind of incredible.
It is. I mean, and I think I said this to you off air, but Bobbity, especially because he has no way of regaining his own health. Cell at the very least, because when 21 wasn't doing B2, she was still doing a lot of melee, and she procs her B1 off a lot, which gives her like a load of boosts. I think it gives her a melee boost. So she was doing a lot of damage just from that, which Cell was able to just recover with obviously his grabs, but Bobbity had no, as far as I was aware, no health regen at all.
He had Den Days, I believe.
Did he have a Den Days?
I believe I gave him a Den Days, specifically because it was such a long event.
That is still impressive, though, because...
yeah, I gave him 10 days.
There you go, that would make sense then. Yeah, but that's still very impressive, 70k HP. So.
I will also say this event was kind of terrifying in that the very first match was GT Goku versus Android 21, and GT Goku did what less than a bar. He did half a bar or something to Android 21. Absolutely demolished. And then we ended the event. I believe we ended the event with 21 versus 21.
Yeah, I think we did, and I know that we had to mess around with switching the costumes over because, yeah, it would get confusing otherwise. But yeah, I enjoyed this event. I really do like this event actually. Maybe a tiny bit more than the Burter one, but I like both very much. So, yeah, we get ready to move on to the main event, as it were.
Yeah, and shall we move on?
Cool. Right, so the main event of this whole week, basically, Kami versus Guru, which is obviously you guys would have been voting on, or would have seen about the votes that were taking place to pick the roster, as it were, for these two teams. The 50k plus characters all went into a vote, and all these characters came out, and Kami and Guru went into a draft against each other to take which characters they wanted. On the left, you have what is Team Kami with Deborah, Goku, Raditz, Jiren, Frost, and Guru drafted Fasha, Buhan, Babidi, Hercule, and Frieza. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to pass it over to you to have a little talk about a couple of the matches, if you would like to.
Sure.
So,
I mean, there were only 2 matches for this event, which should.
It was a best
I don't
of
know
3.
if that's like it was a best of 3, and there were only 2 matches, so one of the teams won twice in a row.
Yeah.
But it started off with Fasha versus Deborah. In the first match, Deborah handily beat Fasha before Frieza coming in, and then Frieza took over the whole match. Like Frieza ran the match pretty much, taking out 3 characters, I think.
Yeah, it was 2 bars of Deborah, all of
2 bars of
Frost.
Deborah, all of Frost,
All
and
of
then
Raditz.
most of Raditz, or all of Raditz?
Yeah, it was all of Raditz because Jiren came in afterwards and then blew up Frieza instantly with
Yeah.
that.
So it was a bit of a lopsided fight where Jiren and Jiren and Buhan had like a bit of a tussle where Buhan handily defeated him before it ended up being what's it called?
Goku versus the world.
Goku versus Buhan, killed Buhan, who had a sliver left, killed Babidi. It was a good fight though, down to a bar, and then Hercule came in and finished the job.
With present bombs galore.
Exactly.
And match 2, it was actually a bit of a role reversal. So Deborah actually was getting slapped around a little bit by Fasha, and then Jiren came in and demolished Fasha.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't even funny. Deborah tagged, by the way. He didn't die because he came back later to be a menace. But then Hercule came in, and Hercule decided he was not having Frieza steal his limelight in that, because in that first match, obviously Frieza did pop off, but Hercule thought, no, I'm going to do one better. He destroyed Jiren. It was kind of crazy, to be honest, because it felt like, I don't know what you felt like for Happy when you was watching it, but it felt like to me, it was the Hercule when he was back on Derp a few seasons ago, when he was like
the top, the legend, the champion himself.
He came back out of retirement and he absolutely just pushed straight through Team Kami.
Oh yeah. Jiren had only lost half a bar to Fasha when Hercule came in, and then I think Hercule lost less than a bar to Jiren by the time that Jiren died.
Yeah. To the point, and to be honest, most of the rest of the match kind of slips my mind because I'm fairly certain that Hercule beat Jiren down, and then did Frost come in next?
No, it was Super Saiyan Goku versus Hercule. They fought for a little while until Goku beat up Hercule. Buhan versus Goku. I don't think it was that. Was it a stop?
I think Buhan.
No, Goku only had like 1 bar left versus Buhan's 3. So Buhan beats out Goku. Raditz. Wait, hold on. I'm cracked. No. Buhan beats out Goku. It's then Buhan versus Raditz.
Yeah.
Raditz doesn't have the best performance in the world. Like, Buhan ends up winning. So that Frost comes in. And then Frost takes out Buhan. Frost versus Babidi. It's a fairly decent even match. Lots of pui-puis. Before Babidi takes down Frost, and then almost to finish things off, we actually end up with Babidi versus Deborah, teammates and master and servant, where the servant won by a sliver.
And then
at the end,
Frieza decided to make things interesting and take a load of damage.
Yes. Well, actually, technically, Babidi tagged. He didn't lose. And then, Frieza came in with full health against less than half a bar of Deborah, and Deborah got it down to half a bar on Frieza by the time he died, which is absolutely crazy.
It is. Frieza launched an ult into nothingness. I don't know what he was doing, but I think he just turned off after the first match. He thought, I've done my work, I've retired. But
Deborah, I'm pretty sure Deborah had 1,000 HP left when Frieza came in, something along those lines.
But he healed back up with the...
He had like 20% of the bar left.
Oh, that is funny. But overall, it's obviously congratulations to Team Guru and commiserations to Team Kami. I think maybe Team Kami probably got a bad role in some respects, because I think you look at the characters, bar Raditz, but they're very, very strong characters. I think Jiren maybe didn't do as well as what was expected on the max key build that he was on. But I think that maybe it was a bit of a bad dice roll, because as far as I'm aware, Frost was on his normal build, and he wasn't as good as what he's been sort of in the main season. He's been a menace. Deborah was Deborah. Deborah still did Deborah things. Goku was decent. Maybe not the best. It was mainly Raditz, basically. Raditz flattered to deceive, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Where Bobbity kind of lived up to, like, if you're on like the weak picks, Bobbity actually lived up to his role, if that makes sense. He actually.
Bobbity was at exactly 50k when he was let into the All-Stars, like dead 50k. And he actually did pretty decent both matches. Like nothing spectacular, but also nothing terrible. So kind of just he did pretty good against what I think would be most people's expectation.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone was kind of thinking who's going to be worse out of Raditz and Bobbity. I know that's not a very nice thing to say, but I think that's what they were the last picks, right? So
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess Bobbity proved that he isn't the worst, and he's
I've been telling people for years Bobbity is a good character.
And boy, did he prove it.
Oh yeah.
With that, are we ready to get moving on to predictions? My
Yes.
favourite time of the week. Okay, so for predictions for the first week, the first match. Yeah, tell it's been a while since I've done this. We have Budokai versus ED. I do not know any of the benches or anything, but I'm gonna make a guess, basically predicated on obviously the win-loss records, which I believe ED have a much more favourable record than Budokai. So I'm going to go with ED because generally they feel like they are in a stronger place with like Krillin and Mid Goku, and because I think Mid Goku's actually was like top 5 this season. So I'm gonna go with ED.
I have to agree. I think ED is stronger than Budokai, in my own personal opinion. I think their records also reflected this season, with Earth Defenders being 6-3 and Budokai being 2-7. Sadly. So I'm going to go ED as well.
Cool. That's 2-0 to ED. We have Derp and Namek. This is interesting because it's a divisional. I don't know how much Zenny either team has.
We can check real quick.
Yeah,
Zenny totals. Namek has 23 Zenny.
Holy
and Derp has 10.
I was going to go with Derp, but I actually genuinely think, and I could see Namek spending almost all of that Zenny. So yeah. I think I'm going to actually go with Namek, based off of that.
I can see them spending all that Zenny, but as my team has shown before, maybe spending Zenny isn't all that.
Maybe that's maybe.
I actually think I'll give it to I'll give it to Derp. I think Derp has been like really good this season, so I'll give it to them.
That is completely fair.
This is one of the few seasons where they've had like an excellent performance.
It is, and I mean Frost has helped them. Obviously, being in the All Stars has helped them tremendously. So that is 1-1. On to match 3. We have Royals versus RW. Obviously, RW is going to easily win. Anyway, on to the next. No, carry. What's going on the Royals camp? What's going on? Let's hear.
I'm giving you a chance to retract some
I retract the previous statement.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. The Royals team appreciates this official statement.
An official statement
But
from Team Cold. Yep.
But yeah, I will win.
That's a very bold statement, but I respect.
That's my statement every time this comes up. I have full confidence in my own team. I do think that Resurrected Warriors is a fairly strong team, and I know that 18 has had like a standout season, and in Vegeta as well. But I think my team can take them.
Fair. RW are a very strong team, just because 18, Marjube, and Vegeta as a three-piece combination. Like, if they're all in, then I will give it to RW. But I'm gonna assume that one of them is benched, in which case I will give it to you. So that is 2-0, 2 Royals, but I think it'll be probably a pretty close match, just based on who RW have in their squad. Match 4, Kaiju versus GT. This is a tough one, actually. I'll give it to you first, because this is a tough match, actually.
This is a tough one. Kaiju or GT? Let me look at their standings right now. GT is 7-2, Kaiju's 4-5, but I don't know. I like Kaiju a lot. I mean, I like GT as well, but
I like Kaiju.
No, it's
share so much. Oh, I say share so much there. No, you don't really. It's KV, and that's KV and Scouter, I guess.
No, we just get along well, but we do also share a good number of characters. What's it called? The Slug King Vegeta trade was probably one of the best that have happened in the league. Similar to the Mecha trade that we did. Where both teams are like quite happy with the result, I think. But I think I'll have to give it to GT. I think Kaiju has a slight bit of a disadvantage against GT specifically because so many people in GT easily break the power body, and GT are having a really good season. So
you said you give that to Kaiju?
No, I'm giving it to GT. Like, GT breaks power body easily on the Giants, and GT are having like a much better season than Kaiju are.
That's true. They are 7-2. Did you say GT?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I think I'm gonna give it to Kaiju, and I can't deny that part of my vote on Kaiju is because they have Tao as an FA, and I think he is an excellent character. And I think obviously they have so many pieces like to a jigsaw that I think at some point it has to like come together, if that makes sense. They've got all the pieces there: Bardock, Tao, Slug, who I think is really good. Maybe they'll bring Nappa off the FA bench. I would be interested to see if they do that, although they might do it next week instead. And Kid Goku is an excellent character, as we've seen over the years on Budokai. He always seems to be in and around the 45 to 50k range. So I will give it to Kaiju, just about. So that's 1-1. On to match number 5. We have Sentai versus Cinema. It's the second divisional of the week. This is another tough one. I really like both teams, but I think, and I'm gonna have to disappoint Destiny, but I think I'm gonna give it to Sentai just because I think Jiren is just so powerful, and then you add Burter on top of it, and Ultimate Gohan. I mean, those three, they're almost as strong, if not stronger than RW's 3 of Marjube, 18, and then Vegeta. And I imagine that they'll all be in. So I'm going to give it to Sentai.
Yeah, Sentai are having an excellent season. Cinema are also having like a really good season, actually. I think like Cinema struggled in past seasons which is surprising because I feel like they have really good characters. But Fasha is having a great season, and Gogeta's also having a decent season. But Sentai, is kind of crazy right now.
Yeah, no, they are.
Sentai is kind of crazy.
They are. They have Zach Dyer working as well, which is something I completely forgot to mention.
Kind of wild. Let me just look at the Zenny totals real quick.
Cinema
has 10, Sentai have 7. They're fairly even, but I'll give it to Sentai. Sentai is so strong.
Perfect. Okay, so that's 2-0 to Sentai. On to match number 6. We have Hybrids versus Androids. A bit of a bruising match. Androids have not been all that great this season, but I don't think Hybrids have either.
No, Hybrids is at 4 and 5. Androids is at 3 and 6. So they're right around each other. I do agree. It's kind of surprising to me at least that like Androids is so low right now. Androids is usually one of the strongest teams in the league. I will say though, I feel like I'm gonna have to give it to Androids for the simple fact that Android 17 has gotten all of his benches done. So 17 is in every week now.
Yeah, that's probably part of the reason that it seems like they've struggled so much as well. I think I'll agree with Androids for 2 reasons. 1, like you say, 17. 2, I think the fact that I feel like Hybrids is a bit like myself, and I guess you to a degree. They're quite a spammy team. Like Sword Trunks is quite spammy. I think Adult Gohan is spammy. Future Gohan, he's not massively like into spam, but he's still like a character that I feel like does better when he's firing those B2s out. And obviously Teen is spammy. So I feel like for that part of it, they've got Cell, obviously you can grab. Also the rest of them are Androids, obviously, because it's Androids. So they're going to be in the face, and they're not going to give them much room to breathe. So on that basis, I will go Androids.
Yep.
So that is 2-0 to Androids.
Yep.
Match 7, Rugrats versus Cold. I'm going to be completely unbiased in every sense of the word and say Cold. And I will not elaborate no, I will elaborate. I have faith in my team. And even though I think we've had a few weeks now where we've had a tiny little bit of a drop off, I think part of that is we've been tweaking with a few builds on a few characters, and I'll just say that a certain character or two will be going back to basics, so I'm quite happy to divulge that on here. But yep, I'm going to go with Cold.
We're going to go with Cold. I'll go with Cold as well. Like, I have our teams are, the Venn diagram between Team Royals and Team Cold is nearly a circle. So.
We're basically the same team.
We're kind of the same team. So you know what? I'll give it to you guys on Cold. No shade on Rugrats though. They are like a really good team.
Oh yeah.
But Cold, you are also like a really strong team, and what's it called? Frieza has been kind of crazy.
I mean, if only we could use illegal builds like last week and give him max defense. But yeah, he has been crazy. But yeah, so that's 2-0 to Cold, and on to the final match. We have Boo Saga versus Muscle. Boo Saga, I think, have been on a tear. I feel like they've maybe not as good as usual, but I feel like their winning record, right? Are they 6 something maybe?
They are 5 and 4.
5 and 4. Okay, so I think that's the same as us on Cold. So that's interesting. Muscle, I think they started the season horribly, but I believe they now have at least 2 wins.
They're 2 and 7. They were 0 and 6 or something at the start, I think.
Yeah, they were. So they've had 2 wins and 1 loss recently. Partly this is bias, I can't lie, because Boo Saga are in my division, so there is a little bit of bias. But I actually think that Muscle will do this, because recently they've had a bit of a resurgence. They brought Broly back in, which I think was big for them, like really.
That is an important thing, yeah.
And he's been doing well. Bojack, I think maybe is still a bit of an issue. 13 is 13, and then Trunks, while I think has been an issue, he's on the same form as he was in 2022, where he was like a 50k character. So
Yeah.
I struggle to believe they can't figure something out for Trunks. I think they will do if they haven't already. So I will go with Muscle.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm terrified of Team Boo's.
They are a scary team.
Boo Saga is just so rough. So I think I'll have to give it to Boo. This is almost surprising, but the worst performing character on Boo Saga is Kid Boo. And Kid Boo is the one with the fewest benches on the team so far. Everyone else is at 2 benches. He's only at 1. So I expect Kid Boo to be benched. Which somehow is the weakest character being benched on.
Yeah, the crazy
which is
thing.
Wild.
The crazy thing is, what you saying there about Kid Boo being the worst. Having spoke to obviously Dorgout the coach over several seasons, Kid Boo was always one of their most some of his averages over the previous seasons were like stat padded, where like ults and stuff would really get him up, and they were having problems with Kid Boo up until last season, and now it seems like he had one season where they finally felt like they figured him out, and he's gone back to being kind of like inconsistent. Very inconsistent.
Yeah.
So yeah, but with that, that's 1-1. I think we're getting ready to wrap it up. If you are ready.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's move on.
Right. Well, I want to thank everyone for watching, and well, getting to this point in the cast. And if you guys want to check out the links below to the Discord, the website, Twitter, and our TikTok. They're all down there. And while you're there, if you would like to leave a comment for any improvements that we can make for the cast, we would like to hear your feedback and reflect on it. I have been your host, Xmat, joined by my lovely co-host, Fathappy.
Yeah, it has been a pleasure. A bit of a shorter cast than usual, but a very different format as well.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was a nice change of pace, and I hope you guys
It
will
was.
follow that too. And peace out.
Have a good one.